When did you actually arrive in Australia?
Let's see, 63, I think.
Yeah?
When they come.
And how old were you then?
Geez, that is personal.
No, I mean like...
How old are you?
God knows.
About 4 or 5.
Yeah? Now, obviously your brother was influenced by, well, both your brothers, Alex and George, were influenced by certain musical influences from England.
What are you drinking there?
I'm not drinking anything. What were you, when did you first get some influence as far as your own musical tastes were concerned?
Really from when I was pretty young.
Yeah.
Because you had a lot of old rock and roll songs, you know, Little Richard, Buddy Holly, stuff like that. It was always being played in the house,
right.
So I picked up from that.
So who was playing the music, Alex or George?
Both of them.
Yeah.
Alex, George, and then later on Malcolm.
Right.
And I mean, they've all got their own different flavours, but
yeah,
it was mainly that sort of stuff, Little Richard.
Okay, so where were you living at this stage?
That was Scotland, just before we come to Scotland.
No, when you came to this country.
Oh, it's here. Let's see, I think they had it in Port Arthur in the old convict settlement somewhere down there.
Right.
Yeah. No, Sydney, here, in our hostel.
The Easy Beats, how much influence did that have on you two? Seeing your brother in a band that was the biggest band in the country?
Oh, a lot. I mean, as far as what we like musically, a lot.
Did you go to many of the concerts?
We weren't really that, I mean, it was good in a way because my father kept us away from a lot, because there was a lot of, they always sort of warned you what to keep away from, you know, because also you get, at that time, I mean, we all went to school, you know.
Right.
So if you're in school, you know, they were at that time it was very new, even for people that, I mean, in school we used to get lectures on people with long hair, you know. Right. So they used to always tell you not to say who your family was and all what. If they ask you what your brother told you, just say they're in a musical, you know, but not to tell them that they play in a rock and roll band.
Music. Obviously, I mean, some of them were going to find out, they were going to find it out at school, and then it would have spread. So, once you were sort of like Angus Young, brother of George Young, star of the Easy Beats, I mean, like, how did you cope with that?
Well, it was pretty easy, but I mean, they were pretty good because the guy that managed them really kept it quite under control, you know. Yeah. He made sure that nobody knew where they lived and whatnot. You got the occasional kids, you know. There was a big raid once on our house. I remember coming home from school, seeing hundreds of kids mobbed outside the door, you know. But I mean, I was pretty smart. I mean, I just went round the block and then jumped over the fence and come in the house that way.
Right.
Yeah.
So where then did you and Malcolm have the want to get into a rock group? And how did it happen?
Because I used to play in school in bands and things, you know, or with a few friends. And Malcolm was playing around Sydney in little club bands. And then he just turned around one day and said, why don't me and you play together and we'll get in people that we want to play with, you know?
Right.
And so it was mainly the two of us together. And we just got people who fitted in well with us. Bond came about a month later or so, you know. So it all sort of fitted pretty good.
How were your parents coping at this stage? I mean, it seemed as if the whole bloody family were going into rock groups.
Well, my parents were never really, I mean, they like music and everything, you know, but for them it's a different era.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Did they discourage you at any stage?
No, not really.
I mean, you're a great guitarist. I mean, was it just natural? Was it something you had to learn, or?
No, I stole it all those. No, I was lucky I could pick it up, you know.
Yeah?
Yeah, from when I was very small, you know, I could just pick up what I didn't know. I picked up off Malcolm or George.
Right.
You know.
Well, apart from your guitarist ability, someone sort of said, and I hadn't thought of this until just recently, that perhaps little Stevie from the Easy Beats may have had an influence on you as far as a showman is concerned.
Yeah, Stevie was a good influence. for anyone, I think. You know, Bon also was very much influenced by Stevie. You know. And in his ability to get a crowd, you know, at that time there wasn't really, if you look back, there was not much happening. You know, I mean, you got your pop stuff, but there was no, I mean, where the kids were in the rock and roll, when kids went to clubs, we used to see what they didn't like, you know, which was people coming in doing cover versions and of other people's songs, and what kids really liked at that time was rock and roll music, nice and loud, and they could stomp along and, you know, clap your hands and whatever, you know. You had to get people to look at what you were doing, you know, stop the guy swilling on his beer and look at you. Yeah. It's hard to get people to even clap in them days. Yeah.
So how did you do it? Was it Bon's influence of being from the Valentines, which was an offshoot really from the Easy Beats?
Well, it was mainly just from going out there and trying to be a bit outrageous, that's all.
Yeah?
You know, just being, you know, hamming it up.
So where did the songwriting come from? Where did you actually sit down and write songs?
Well, that come mainly between me, Malcolm, and then with Bon, you know, when Bon came along. And the three of us put our heads together, you know. And George, him producing, you know, because he was always good at that, he always let us do what we want.
Right.
So it worked great. We didn't have to be because George had spent most of his life doing commercial songs, and this was his big chance to say, no, guys, I'm not going to make you into some commercial, you know, band that just does like music, for, you know, for singles. You're going to be a rock and roll band that's going to make, you know, you're going to be a band as good as the Rolling Stones or something. You know?
Right.
Every show to us was an event. Right. You know, we went in there to you know, get everyone in the place, rocking and jumping, you know. That was our whole intent, you know. And that, I mean, put it this way, even if they hated us, we knew they'd go away remembering us, you know.
Right.
Because we'd always do anything for a clap, you know.
Right, now, recording-wise at that stage, how much time did you spend in the studios, like, doing a single? Was it an easy exercise, or was it a long exercise with George and Harry? I mean...
Oh, very quick.
Yeah?
I mean, yeah. We could go in and knock out an album in 2 weeks, in between gigs, you know. So, but that was the speed of things in them days. You didn't have time, you know, because we were working everywhere, you know. We were doing, in some places, you were doing 3 or 4 shows a night. Yeah.
Baby Please Don't Go, first single.
Yeah.
Why was that the track to be the first single?
It really wasn't. It was really the other side of the single, but everyone else flipped it over.
Yeah?
Yeah. And their main reason for that was, they said, the song on the other side was a bit calmer, you know. And everyone said, that's not ACDC. The ones who knew us and flipped it over.
Right.
So hence we had this, it was good, you know, I mean, for us it was magic, you know.
Yeah.
6-minute rock song. You know.